All right, joining us today is Bellator welterweight Blake Perry, who is making his debut at the upcoming Bellator 278 on April 22nd from Honolulu, Hawaii, which will be on Showtime TV. Blake, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Hey man, I appreciate you guys having me, man. Any opportunity like this, I'm always super stoked to hop on, man. So I'm a fan of the show, and I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Well, great. Let's go ahead and kind of get started with some of the basics, let our listeners get to know you a little bit. Where are you from, and how did you get started in mixed martial arts?
So I'm born and raised in Ohio, in a small town called Jefferson. Closest big city is Cleveland, probably like an hour away. But yeah, born and raised in Northeast Ohio, and grew up my whole life wrestling since I was a little kid. And obviously in Ohio, not much else to do out there, man. So yeah, grew up wrestling out there, and then after my wrestling career ended when I was too old, got into mixed martial arts and just kind of went from there, man. It was a pretty smooth transition, and just seemed to make sense, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, man.
So if for our listeners that haven't seen you fight in the past, how would you describe your overall game plan when you're in the octagon? With that wrestling background, are you real wrestling heavy? Are you more of a striker? How do you go about things in there?
Yeah, I guess honestly, I would kind of consider myself to be honest, man, just kind of an annoying fighter. I like to just really keep the pace high and just force guys to fight my fight. I like obviously wrestling and grappling because that's what I grew up doing. But I'm definitely a volume fighter. I'm not like a one punch walk off knockout kind of guy. That's just not. I'm not like that type of dude. But my style is kind of dragging dudes into deep water, and I have pretty good gas tank. Has always been a skill of mine. I'm tall and skinny, and I got a good gas tank. So try and use all those attributes to my advantages, man. So yeah, I would say definitely I'm a volume fighter, if that makes sense.
What gym are you training out of right now?
It's called Team Nobody MMA in California, actually, is where I live now. Yeah, it's a smaller gym, just a tight-knit group of guys out in the Bay Area of California, in Fairfield is the name of the city.
How long have you been there?
Right about a year. Actually, just hit my year. Hit my 1 year mark out there.
Did you go there right when you moved out to California? Or have you been in California a little longer?
No, yeah, actually, right. I think the week I moved to California, actually, I hit that gym up, and it was just a perfect fit, man. And there was no reason to look elsewhere. It's the best family I've had ever in fighting, in terms of a gym. And I went there once, met everybody, and I was like, I think I'm gonna hang out here every day from now on.
So you say about a year. So what were your last 3 fights then, I would say, have been you've been with that gym?
Exactly. Yeah, correct.
You're on a 4-fight winning streak in the amateurs.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, actually there was a kickboxing fight in there too. If you count that one, that's 5. But yes,
kickboxing.
Yes.
Excellent. Do you feel like that gym has really helped you improve on any certain aspects of your game since you've been with them?
100%. I would say specifically my striking. There's good grappling coaches there too, absolutely. But the head coaches are very honed in on striking, and it worked out perfect because I think that was where I needed the most work in my game. So it was just kind of a match made in heaven, man. So I went there and really cleaned up my striking, and still a work in progress everywhere, obviously, always trying to get better. But yeah, man, I would say moving out to California, the striking aspect has been huge.
So with that move out to California, at what point, in your life, did you decide this is when this is going to be your profession? This is what you're going to do. Was it directly after wrestling? Was there a period where you kind of were deciding whether you were going to do it or not? Or is it just straight from wrestling on into fighting?
That's actually a good question, man, because it's like it's funny how stuff works out because I wrestled for so long that when my wrestling career ended, there was like a short couple month period where I was like, I think I'm just gonna be just Blake down the street. I'll get involved in something else and just find something else that makes me happy. But I think my competing years might be behind me. And then, after a couple months of not doing a whole lot, I was like, well, maybe I'll get involved in jiu-jitsu to stay in shape kind of thing. And then, started training jiu-jitsu for a few months and then got that competitive itch again. I guess it just never really went away, man. And then that turned into, my goal was to have an MMA fight, just an amateur MMA fight. I just wanted one. I thought it would be awesome. And then had one of those and then just kept going with it. And then kind of just became my identity, man. And now it's, making the jump to professional. It's just weird how things work out and I wouldn't change anything, man. But yeah, it's just, I can say I've always definitely had it in my mind that I wanted to fight professionally and it's always been a thing, but I didn't really start to seriously make it a goal of mine until probably 4 or 5 months after wrestling ended and after I started to what I thought was just going to be get back in shape in the gym. It turned into like, I think I kind of want to try this shit, man,
Yeah. You got that itch after those first couple of fights, huh?
That was it, man. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. I know what that feels like. I used to box a long time ago.
Okay.
I know that itch.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and Paul's a wrestler as well.
There we go. You guys know.
Unlike a lot of fighters, you're getting a really cool opportunity to make your professional debut in, the second, I'd say basically recognized as the second biggest organization in mixed martial arts with Bellator. And you get to do it on, a pretty cool card in Hawaii, which for you is just a little short plane ride right across, right?
Yeah, right.
How does that feel to be able to kind of, make your debut in one of the big shows?
Dude, it's kind of crazy, man. It's just one of those things where it was pretty surreal, man, when I, because I mean my last fight was in a hotel ballroom. You know what I mean? Like I fought in trampoline places, I fought in hotel ballrooms, friggin' like glorified like warehouses and stuff, so it's a big jump, man. It's definitely, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity and what better place, man, to get to fight in the best fucking place in the world.
Yeah.
And, I mean, shit, why not, man? I can't complain in any sense, because definitely, yeah, like you said, man, you already said it, making a debut for Bellator, you can't complain, that's dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel you match up with your opponent, McCall Cooper? Like going in, like obviously his family has this big name behind it in that region, and this obviously going to be his home crowd. Like, do you embrace that? Is that something you look forward to, like, kind of playing off that?
Oh, 100%, man, because I have nothing but respect for him and his family. I've actually met the family several times and even trained with them and stuff. They're great people. Every one of them has been nothing but cool to me. So nothing but respect there. But I also know how talented he and the rest of his family is, and like you said, his fan base out there. And so I got the call for the card with that name. I'm like, hell, fucking yeah, I want that fight, dude. That's a no lose scenario, man. I get to go out and fight a dude who I know is fucking tough. I know his family's tough, but I'm there for a reason too, man. They called me for a reason. So, yeah, dude, I heard the opportunity where it's at to sign me up, bro. This is one of those memories that I want forever, man. So I can't wait to go out there and do my thing. And as I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, because he's a younger guy too. He's had one professional fight and he's fighting in Bellator. So why not, man? Big opportunity for us both to go out there and bang it out, have some fun, dude.
Yeah, it's a great matchup, man. We're really excited for you. What are a couple things that you would like our audience listeners to like know about you?
That's a good question. I think a couple things that
like maybe about you as a person, or it can be about your fighting or things you like or dislike, or
yeah. I would say I just am very, very, very grateful for the support system I have, because I know a lot of fighters talk about being self-made and all this kind of stuff, and I'm not, man. I'm not a self-made dude, because I'll be real. I know for a fact I wouldn't be where I am had it not been for an awesome support system, and because I've had rough times, just like I'd imagine most people have, you know. But I just want people to know that I'm not self-made. You know, I have an awesome support system, awesome coaches. I got an awesome girlfriend, family, little pit bull named Buddha. So I'm definitely I'm thankful for every opportunity I get, man. And I love Hawaii too. Is another thing, is because I actually lived there before California. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and that was my first 7 or 8 MMA fights were living in Hawaii out there. So this is almost I'm not from Hawaii, but yeah, I'm not from Hawaii, but in a way it feels like going back home in terms of my MMA career. So yeah, man, I guess that was kind of a long rambling answer, but just overall, man, I just want people to know that I'm not self-made, that my support system's fucking awesome, and I just want them to know that I love and appreciate all of them.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Well, are you the kind of fighter, do you like keep close ties to the game? Do you watch like all different organizations, or are you the kind of guy that you're kind of focused on your own stuff?
Nah, dude, I'm a total fanboy. I love watching all the different organizations, and I like watching some boxing and little kickboxing and wrestling and getting into the bare knuckle. You know, watching the bare knuckle is fun. So I kind of like just looking. I definitely like watching.
Yeah, so do we. We're big fans of both boxing and bare knuckle, and obviously mixed martial arts too.
Right.
Like if you had to name any fighters, it could be boxers or mixed martial artists or karate guys, whatever. Like your Mount Rushmore or your top 3 fighters of all time, or who would that be?
Ooh, good question. I would say I love watching like some of the old school dudes like Jason Mayhem Miller. I don't know if y'all remember him. He was fun to watch. I loved his grappling style. Then there's, you know, some obvious ones like you gotta love the Diaz brothers. Yeah, I was a Mayhem Miller fan. And then as far as like just the fighters that the mindset I love watching is like Robbie Lawler. He's the shit, man. Yeah. Just the friggin' modern day gladiator, dude. But I would say those are my 3. I guess I kind of listed the Diaz brothers as one, but you know.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, they fit together. It's okay.
Yeah,
they come as a pair for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Blake. This has been great. Where can our listeners find you on social media if they want to connect?
So pretty much Instagram is the spot for me, man, because outside of that, I'm really not real heavy on social media, but on Instagram I'm pretty active. It's just Blake MMA 170, just one word.
Blake MMA 170 on Instagram. Well, everybody, Blake Perry, he's making his debut against Makoa Cooper. That's Bellator 278, April 22nd of this year, coming to you from Honolulu, Hawaii. Be sure to tune in on Showtime. Thank you so much for joining us, Blake.
Thank you.
And good luck on the 22nd.
Yo, thanks for having me, man. You guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all.
You bet. We'll talk to you later, man.
Sounds good, man. Peace.